Turn up the dive, feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's so I remember I share and subscribe. Join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the Untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Paranormal Spectrum. I am your host, Barnaby Jones, here on the Untold Radio Network. Welcome to the show. As you can tell, we are live today. You can tell we're live because live shows always start late. That's right. So, if it is a pre-recorded show, it usually starts on time because it's set to start on time. But live shows always start late. There you go. Welcome to the show. Our chat is already jumping here. Good morning, Flat Rock Land. Good morning, Tyler and Vince and Lee. Awesome to have you all here. Welcome to the show. There's a few more here. We will get to that later. If you guys have questions throughout the show, throw them in the comments section in all caps, and we will get to them as soon as we can. All right. Coming up, guys, Cryptids Anomalies and the Paranormal Society is searching for a UFO researcher, dedicated researcher of the ufology. If that is you and you are here in Wisconsin and would like to be part of the Cryptids Anomalies and Paranormal team, head on over to our website, wisconsincaps.com, and click on the little banner with the alien looking up at the UFO, and it'll take you to an application page. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing you. We are going to be seeing all of you in person at Obscura Paracon in DeKalb, Illinois on March 21st and 22nd, coming to you from a really cool castle location. You can grab yourself some tickets to that at obscuraparacon.com. I was going to spell it, but yeah, you can figure it out. And then, guys, we are going to be at the Contact Modalities Expo coming up May 1st through the 3rd in Delavan, Wisconsin. Myself and fellow Untold Radio host Dean Bertram are speakers at this event, as well as a ton of other speakers throughout this awesome 3-day weekend. It's going to be a great time. And then, guys, we are going to be at Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention Saturday, May 9th in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, with 40 vendors, 2 speaker rooms, and workshops. Over 20 speakers and workshops that weekend. Big event, all kicking off Friday afternoon with a kids Bigfoot expedition led by myself, Chris McCurry from the CAPS team, Lauren Smith from Night Callers Radio, Kelly Milner Halls, who is a children's book author, taking your kids and yourself out in the woods to teach you all about wood safety and looking for Bigfoot. And then for the more adventurous, we have the Friday night Bigfoot expedition. Myself, Chris, and Lauren will be joining it, as well as Jay Bachochin, Ken Gerhard, and my guest today, Larry Eissler. We'll get to that in a little bit. Then, guys, coming up in June, we are going to be at the Chicago Paranormal Convention in Countryside, Illinois, and I will be at the Rio Community Library in October, as well as the Belleville Public Library. We'll talk more later. All right, guys, with that being said, let us get to our guest. My guest today is a distinguished author, filmmaker, historian, and paranormal researcher, Larry Eissler, with over 15 years of experience and 7 years in the paranormal video production. His work spans documentaries, social media content, and episodic series focusing on lesser-known haunted locations in American Midwest. Larry's dedication to the paranormal community is evident through his Telly Award-winning productions, extensive publications, and his role as an educator and historian. Please welcome back to the show, Larry Eissler. Larry, welcome to the show.
Hey, I just want to preface and say right from the beginning, we are late because of me. It is 100% my fault. I work a lot with this wonderful lady. Her name is Brittany Bickett. She lives in Indiana, and she's on the Eastern time zone. So whenever we plan things, I'm just used to planning things in Eastern. So when you said 1 p.m., my brain said, oh, I need to look at Eastern. And then forgetting, I don't live in Eastern. I live in Central.
Yes, because when I have guests on, I do send them all the time zones as what time it is on. So I did send you 1 p.m. Eastern.
You did. And that was my fault.
Along with 12 p.m. Central Standard. But yeah,
Yep. and I feel like it's rough because I live in Illinois, right at the edge of the time zone, to where an hour east, it's now a different time. Most people, they're just like, oh, I have to drive 6 hours for the time zone. It doesn't affect me. No, I have to be in the future and the past at the same time.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine like living on that line.
Oh yeah. She lives about I think 30 minutes from it, and yeah, I imagine it's rough.
I know there's got to be a lot of people out there, all across the United States and the world that, live on one side and work just on the other.
That would drive me nuts.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine that.
It would drive me nuts.
I would honestly move. I would not do it. Jeez.
Yeah. That's one of those moments where it's like, listen, the commute to work isn't bad. It's the time. I need to live in the same time zone as my job, please. Just let me. Help me.
When you tell your boss you live an hour, or your commute is an hour drive to work, and he's like, but you live right down the road. Yeah, but it's an hour away.
It's still an hour away. I have to leave my house at 6 a.m. to get here at 7 a.m.
That's right. Oh man, that's just terrible. Yeah, I mean, what that kind of leads us into time slips. I don't know why, but let's talk about time slips. Sure. We've done a lot of paranormal and investigating and stuff like that. Have you done anything with that involves time slips, or have you had any time slip experiences?
Nothing intentionally. And I feel like that's kind of how it goes, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of times where the film game is never, oh, we're gonna go film for 3 hours and then we're gonna relax and have a good time.
Mhm.
No. When you're filming, it's a 20-hour day,
Mhm.
and you're there all day long, all night long. So you start at we'll just say 8 a.m. and we're doing interviews, we're getting B-roll, we're doing drone footage, all the stuff. And then you start your investigation at night because that's when the world's quiet. I can
Mhm.
control sound, I can control light, it's great. So okay, 10 p.m. we're getting ready to start. It's 1 a.m. Where have I been this whole time? I have footage of rooms and situations I don't remember being in.
Mhm.
Where did the time go, literally, and why was I not present for it?
Mhm.
Numerous times. And I don't know if that's exhaustion, if it's because I'm an overthinker, or if I overwork, or if I was on autopilot. I don't know. But I look at footage and I'm like, I don't even remember being in this room. But it looks good. Okay, let's run with it.
Yeah. No,
So
I hear you.
numerous times.
I'm in the same boat. Like a lot of my people don't realize I do all the videography and stuff for our team as well. And
Mhm.
my mediums and stuff, I don't have them get there until we start investigating. But I've already been there, 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes, again, doing the drone and the B-roll and interviewing all the witnesses, signing paperwork and all that stuff.
Oh,
And
paperwork. Oh,
yeah, releases and everything else that we gotta do. And
yep.
it is so much more to these investigations and stuff that I wonder if it's just, like for me, it's not bad time management, but just like, oh, this will take like 5 minutes to go out and, shoot the drone up and do that. And it ends up being an hour later that you're still, trying to get the drone up. It's not connecting or,
Hmm.
whatever the problem is, and all the technical issues of just doing paranormal videography and stuff. So
I've gotten to the point now where when I do my call sheets and my scheduling, I don't care if it takes me 5 minutes to fly the drone. It gets an hour. It gets an hour, because if I get that extra time later, perfect, great, love it. If the battery all of a sudden pops out and it dies, or the drone doesn't want to take off because I have to get clearances, at least I planned for the hour.
mhm.
But too many times where I thought I could squeeze this in 15 minutes, we'll get it up real quick, and then it never is quick, never. So, but yeah, I do the same thing with a lot of my mediums, or if they're involved during the daytime, um, they're not allowed to know where they're going, and most of
Mhm.
the time they're not allowed to drive themselves.
Oh,
So you passenger princess that thing. We're gonna get there, don't you worry. And then I'll film them 5 minutes before we get there for any initial impressions.
hmm,
And then we'll do a little bit of filming of the first walkthrough, like, okay, this is what I got. I get everything then, and then I go, okay, listen, I need to do 4 hours of interviews. Here's my car keys. Go have fun. Come back in a while. So, because of Facebook, though, I can't use the napping of children. They don't like that word, so I have to call it absconding. So it's an absconding adventure.
come with me. We have candy.
Yes.
Go to this
Yep.
haunted location and tell me what you get. Yeah.
Or in this case, it's we have Subway, we have Jimmy John's, we have whatever sandwich you want. We'll go get it, and then pizza.
Yep, exactly. I just hope that none of my team listens to this, or they're gonna want pizza and candy and stuff now. So,
Listen, just take them to Pizza Ranch. You can't go wrong.
oh,
You cannot go wrong. We did a filming at Jericho, which I'm sure you've been there, right?
hmm. I
So
have not, but I know of it. Yeah.
you got to go. It's
Mm,
great. But not all that far away, there's a Pizza Ranch.
of
And
course.
I hadn't been to a Pizza Ranch in over a decade. So, the people I'm with, they're like, we got to go. I'm like, oh, sure. I'm like, what is it? Like, it's a buffet for pizza. And I'm like, all right, sign me up. And I ate 3 pizzas there, but of like multiple varieties, including like a dessert pizza. I had
Yep.
4 pieces of that. And I'm just like, I love Pizza Ranch. We're coming here every single time now. I will stand on the hill and die for Pizza Ranch being a staple in Wisconsin investigations. Mandatory.
You're not from Wisconsin, right? You're
Northern
Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not familiar with, for a little while. Let's see, probably 2010, 2009, 2011 area. There was a restaurant chain in the Fox Valley here called Stevie B's, and it was just the pizza of Pizza Ranch. So they had an entire buffet of just pizzas. They had a little bit of salad and the other stuff at the end, but like Stevie B's has chicken and mashed potatoes and all the other stuff as well. But that place was good, and they had some weird pizza combinations, and you could get almost anything you wanted on it, and they'd make it and bring it to you. And
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm
they're not around anymore, but
make me a cheeseburger pizza with mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup. I'll go down on it. Fine. I'll probably only like it a little bit, but at least I had it.
Mayonnaise on a pizza. I do that. I could do that.
I mean, it's just like eggs and vinegar. It's whatever. A little bit of oil.
I make pickled deviled eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are good.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I like how we're like, this is a paranormal podcast talking about all these things, and we're talking about food.
That's right. That's right.
This is a food podcast now.
Yep, that's right. Haunted foods.
The bearded white guy's talking about food.
So what is your favorite part of the investigation? When it's done and I eat. That's my favorite part. Yeah.
When we all go to the fridge and we crack our reins, and then we go, okay, this is your sandwich, this is your sandwich, this is your sandwich, and devour.
Yep, absolutely. Exactly.
There was one filming we did. Actually, it was a couple weeks ago. We did the Seance Part 2, which is our follow-up to the first Seance. We're still in film festival, so it's going to be a bit yet. But we wanted to get this filming done right away. So I wasn't thinking, like, I'm super focused on the Seance and how to properly film it, how to light it, and all this other stuff. And we decide, hey, we should have dinner before the Seance. And in my brain, I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. We'll have a couple hours after dinner to digest and stuff. The only restaurant in town that was open, because it was -10 degrees, was a Mexican restaurant. So I'm on keto. So I had a fajita bowl, which is pretty much just meat and veggies. And that's it. And everybody else was getting their normal stuff. And 3 hours later, here it's 9 p.m. I'm setting up for the seance. We're getting ready. Everyone's mic'd up. And in the beginning, Diet, who is the best. You met her at
I know Diet, yep.
Sheboygan.
Mm-hmm.
She's leading this seance as the medium, and she's like, okay, it's going to take me a minute. Just let me sit in the quiet. Once I let them in, they'll speak, and then we can go. And I'm like, cool, got it. We're all sitting in the quiet, just kind of waiting, and all of a sudden you hear, and I look down at my stomach, and I'm like, you traitorous bastard. and then someone across the table, like, no. Why did we get Mexican right before the seance, the pivotal moment of the film, and we get Mexican? So when in doubt, get Pizza Ranch. You don't want Mexican.
I don't know. Pizza Ranch seems to do that to me though as well. So
okay, well, or just do what most of us do and don't eat all day long until it's over, and then nosh on something massive.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. I usually just stop at Quick Trip on the way out of town, wherever we are, and that's what I do. Yeah.
Yep. I there's like a staple Wisconsin gas station. It might be Quick Trip.
Quick Trip, yeah.
But they have these amazing pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
I just gas station pizza, and at first I was like, are we really getting gas station pizza? Oh my god, they're so good. Like, there was one place we went to, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was now, but they had one of those pizza things where it like rotates around. Mm-hmm. And we just got gas station pizza, and it was the best for like $3 or $4. Like, Wisconsin's got it. Like, I need to leave Illinois. Just go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, you clearly don't live in Wisconsin. You can tell because you know all about Quick Trip. It's not a
Yeah,
gas station; it's a restaurant.
100%, 100%. And we don't have those in Illinois.
No,
We don't. Even though like the border is an hour north. Like I could see the border on some clear days. I can see the Quick Trip across the border. No, we don't get one. We're not allowed to have one.
I
Too
don't think
good.
there's any in Illinois. I don't know. I know there's
I think
Iowa and Minnesota and Michigan has them.
I think we get the ripoff one. I think it's Quick Star.
Quick Stars, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one we got. And it's only like 2 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it makes me sad. It's not the same.
Yeah, Quick Trip is scared to go to Illinois, so
I don't blame them. Because those $3 pizzas are going to become $8 pizzas real fast.
they're hawking them up on the curb, reselling them.
Right. They're sitting there like, oh, you want to sell pizza out of your gas station? Well, that's going to be a pizza tax. That's going to be okay. Wow, $8 pizza now.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yep. Oh my gosh. It's a great place. I had Stacy Brown Jr. at the convention last year, and I had to pick him up at the airport at 2 a.m. And he goes, "Oh, is there anywhere we could stop and get some food?" I'm like, "Let me tell you."
let me educate you on a Wisconsin staple.
I took him to Quick Trip, and as he came out with a bag of stuff, I said, "So, how was your first?" He's like, "I can't believe that was a gas station that was clean." I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, yeah, they're very clean too. Very clean. And they have like some of the best gas prices too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm very jealous. Like there's been times where I'm like, if I just drive 30 minutes north, I could get gas that's 40 cents cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth it? Most of the time it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you, sir, are going to be up here in Wisconsin coming up in May for our event.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Number one, I've never done anything Bigfoot before. So like, I don't know what we're doing. I might end up becoming Bigfoot bait, maybe, probably. And that's okay. I'm ready for it. Just as long as someone has their phone out.
Yeah.
Like make my sacrifice worthy, like put me on the internet or something. But at the same time though, like I'm really interested in the techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen on TV, like take the stick and hit the tree and make the calls. Like, okay, do you actually do that though? Or is that just for TV?
Sometimes.
I'm interested in learning your guys' neck of the woods, literally and figuratively. So, and I've managed to convince my paranormal partner Brittany and her husband Billy to come with, and they've never done Bigfoot either. So Brittany's like 5 foot nothing, and literally Bigfoot could grab her with one hand and walk into the woods. So I'm waiting. I'm ready. Just I'll have my phone ready and be ready to go. But I'm very excited. And then outside of the hunt on Friday, I'm doing 2 talks for you, and that excites me because I get to share all the spooky stories that we have, and there are a lot for Wisconsin. So I'm going to talk about Jericho and Broadhead and all the other places I've been. OBI, which OBI's got a weird story. If we want to get into it, we can. All I'm going to say is if you're in a building that used to be a brothel and you give the spirits of the brothel $1, they're going to brothelize you. We'll just leave it at that. And then I'm doing a workshop about spirit photography, which I love. I love spirit photography, and I love explaining to people like, hey, the reason you get so many dust orbs isn't because it's spirits, it's because it's dust. And let me show you why. So it's going to be a good event. And Brittany and her husband are into 3D printing, and we're making some stuff specifically just for the CAPS event.
Very cool.
So there'll be some limited edition things that'll be there, and then some generic, cryptid stuff too. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait.
That's gonna be a good time. Yeah. So you, like you said, you have a workshop. That's a separate fee, and then we have the presentation as well in one of the 2 vendor rooms, and then the night hike that you'll be joining us. And I was honestly not surprised, but I was honestly surprised that you wanted to come on the Bigfoot hike, because I know that you don't do anything Bigfoot. You're all paranormal. So I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, what is your take on these things? Do you think that, obviously, and don't take this the wrong way, but you have a very limited knowledge of this subject because it's not your field in that.
Right.
So what is your impression? Do you think that these things are metaphysical or interdimensional or flesh and blood, or just going into this from an outsider standpoint, what are you expecting out of this?
Honestly, for the most part, I don't really know. Like you said, this isn't my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I've seen shows. I've seen them look for Loch Ness 45 times and never come close, other than a stick in the water. But it's like it's kind of like the paranormal. You can watch the show, but until you're standing in the dark, you don't
Mhm.
realize what it really is. So, when you had this opportunity to do this hunt, I'm like, oh hell yeah, let me on. Let me do this. Put me in, coach. I want to stand there in the woods and be like, what is it like to hear the noises around me, to hear the wood popping, to have a big creature come up and ask for some Jack Link's jerky. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to find out. As for what they are, though, I think we're at a point now where it's hard to say that they're a physical creature, because yes, there's parts of northern Wisconsin that are more foresty than others,
Mhm.
right? But there's parts of Illinois that Bigfoot is seen in that's not. Like, they're little forests, little forest preserves and state parks. So it's like, okay, well, how is Bigfoot seen in Starved Rock State Park when that park is traversed by people all the time? Like, if you want to hide, that's not a great place to hide. But if we look at aliens as not, or not, at Bigfoot as not a cryptid, as an alien instead,
Mhm.
just a Wookiee. He's a Wookiee. We'll call him a Wookiee. Um, Now it might make a little more sense. Instead of, living in the woods, there's going to be some kind of a cloaked ship that allows him to, live in a cave, and that's his ship now. You know what I mean? Like, some kind of technology that allows them to exist, but not on our radar. And whether that's interdimensional, whether it's, portal technology, whether it's spaceship technology, I can't say. I've only been doing this for a minute. In May, that's my minute. That's when I'm going to do it for a minute in May. But like, I feel like the Chewbacca analogy kind of works though. Like, that's a Bigfoot. It's Chewbacca. Chewbacca has a spaceship and everything's made of trees. Okay, we might be onto something there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities in doing ghost hunting, paranormal research with the Bigfoot, like just in general. Like when
Mhm.
you go out into the woods, you're basically doing the same thing that you're doing in a haunted location. You're walking through, you're looking for evidence, whether it be, whatever stuff is out there, the sounds, like you said, listening to the environment around you, waiting for the wood knocks or the howls or
Yeah,
something moving through the brush. And it's the same thing as, we do a Bigfoot howl or a wood knock, and it's the same thing as, hey, can you make a noise for me? Can
yeah.
you light this up? There's a lot of similarities, and a lot of people think that, that haven't done a Bigfoot hike or haven't done a paranormal investigation think that these are, exciting things that you see on TV. And it's literally standing in the woods in pitch black for hours at a time, waiting for
Mhm.
something to happen. And they're both very similar to that aspect. So,
It all looks so like dramatic and wow, that's so scary. But that's only 5 minutes of the 5 hours we sat there.
yeah.
And the reason why we look so bored is not because we're tired, it's because we're bored. We're bored. We're waiting for one response, and it took them 10 minutes just to walk in the room. So I could see the parallels there.
Yeah, absolutely. I will tell you, last year, I've said this multiple times on the show, but last year we went out and we went into 3 different groups, and we were probably at least a mile apart between the groups where we were in the woods, a big, big
Holy
area.
cow.
And all 3 of the groups saw the same UFO.
Really?
Yeah.
I
So
hope that happens because I don't want to get into UFOs, but
yeah,
I want to like tip my toe in it and be like, ooh, that's kind of spooky. I like that.
yeah.
Like I saw that light. That was kind of strange. But don't take me. Don't probe me. I'm a spectator. This is a spectator sport for me.
hmm Yeah, but that was cool. And of course, my group was at the time split into two. Myself and about two or three other people were staring off into the woods, hearing like branches crack and something moving.
Yep.
And the other half of my group is the ones that were watching the UFO. So I
Wow.
didn't see the UFO, but myself and then the other two groups all came back and they're like, "Did you see the UFO?" "Yeah, we saw it." And I'm like,
Yeah.
bastards."
So like what am I gonna do on this hike? Like I'm on the poster, but I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
Well, that is a good question. I was going to ask you. So, when you go out, have you've done a lot of haunted locations, obviously, and
Yeah.
filmed, and that's your thing. Have you done any outdoor like woods, like haunted woods, or I mean, like cemeteries, even? Like, have you done a lot of outdoor filming and stuff like that?
We've done cemeteries. I think we did 4 or 5 for Expedition Entity in the first 2 seasons. And then funny you mentioned that because we do have at least one outdoor location for one of the episodics I'm working on right now. It's called Ghost Clips and Chill. It's the show that I'm making with Brittany, and then it has investigations from our team members. Well, I found this location that is kind of dark and spooky in the middle of the woods, where the cabin that we're staying in is also dark and spooky. And then we're doing a lot of night filming in the middle of the woods. So, that's going to be one of the future episodes of the show. And then later on, we're planning to do a second location that may or may not make the show. I'm not sure yet. That's a little too far in advance, but I'm starting to get into them because it's different. Like I've never done a haunted woods before, and I'm down for it. I'm ready. But there might be a cryptid too. I don't know. We'll find out.
Mhm. See,
Find
this is
out.
good practice. This is good practice.
Right. Right.
Lee Warner would like to know, what kind of equipment are you planning on bringing out on the hike with you?
My phone gimbal and probably a wireless microphone or two. Uh, what do you bring on a Bigfoot hunt?
A lot of night vision, I would say, and
Okay.
audio. Your best bet is audio. If you
Okay.
have any like not long duration, long distance stuff like parabolic anything would be
Okay.
really interesting. And you can have it like hooked just to your headset and listen to it live as well, because there's a lot of stuff that happens off in the distance that we might not hear, or
Hmm.
very good to have. We get a lot more audio evidence when you go out than actual,
Okay.
obviously, visual or anything. So
I can see that. That makes sense. That makes sense. I might let you guys handle bug and tick spray. Is that going to be a problem at that time of year?
I don't know. We didn't have too much issue with it last year in May, but when we've done June gets bad. June is
Okay.
very mosquito-y. No matter where we go in Wisconsin, we get a lot. But definitely bug and tick spray for the woods up here. We'll have to see. We're obviously gonna be out scouting the location stuff prior to the event, so I can tell you closer more to what you need to bring. But I would
Sure.
definitely,
Sure.
if you don't have it, we have it. So.
I mean, I just go to Walmart and get a one. That's not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, I could see that being an important part of it. Deep in the woods in Wisconsin, where you can get Lyme's disease. I'll pass on that.
Lisa's was on the hike last year, got dozens of ticks on her. So, but that's a different part of the state. But that's actually more northern than where we are now.
Dear
So
Lord.
this year we're going to a different location. But yeah, ticks are definitely a big thing in Wisconsin. So
I'm gonna do this Bigfoot hunt in a scuba suit, and I'm gonna seal everything. I might wear like one of those beard wraps for chefs, like
yep.
keep all the ticks out
Mhm.
of my beard. You're
Yep.
just gonna see this on the hunt. Just I'm ready, guys. I'm ready.
Yep. That's not bad. I've done it in waders several times. So
Okay. Okay.
There's a lot of wet locations and rainy days that I'm just like, screw it. We're just gonna put waders on because it's easier than getting wet and soaked walking through the woods and tall grass and stuff. So
I totally believe that. Well, hopefully, we know in advance as to whether or not that's going to be a thing.
yeah, May is very volatile here in Wisconsin. It could be 10 degrees, it could be 80 degrees. It's that kind of month. So
Joy. Wow, this sounds like so much fun.
I shouldn't say these things because I want people to go on it, but yeah, usually the hikes do sell out. So
Yeah,
the last several we've done have all sold out every year. So
good. Well, you'll get to see me cracking jokes the whole time. So come on board. Join me.
it'll be fun, very fun. We'll make sure that you're paired with. Obviously, we got some great people out there, a lot of experience. Myself, Ken
Yeah.
Gerhard. Obviously, I mean Ken is phenomenal. And Jay Bachochin is a Wisconsin researcher here, Southern Wisconsin, very synonymous with Bigfooting and stuff, very across the United States, spoke at many events and everything as well. So he knows what he's doing. And Chris McCreary's on my team, does a lot of Bigfooting, actually has had a visual sighting of one of these things running in a ditch towards his vehicle.
Wow.
And then Lauren Smith, as well as second generation Bigfooter. So she's got quite a bit of experience under her belt as well. So you get to be the odd man out with the rest of us. So.
As long as I'm with Brittany and her husband, because when Brittany gets freaked out, it's going to be hilarious for me to watch. And then I'll get my phone up and I'll be like, got it. And then that becomes a great reel. Just be like, and then look, here's Brittany running through the woods because she got scared.
Yep. Yeah, we had last year, we had a couple people that were just, paranormal people that have never done it before. And they did it because, they were very interested in the topic and wanted to see what it was all about. So you don't have to be a Bigfooter to come out with us. So.
Well, that fits me. I'm there for that too. So I'll provide the laughs. That's all I can do. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
There you go, man. Awesome. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about is some of the other experiments that you've done. We'll transition away from Bigfoot here. You can go, anybody that's listening, you can go check it out, get some tickets to the event. There's still space on both for the kids' daytime hike and the nighttime hike as well. Tickets are at wisconsincaps.com. Click on the CapCon banner, or just it's wisconsincaps.com/cap/con, or dash, not slash con, Kappa-con. There you go. Go get your tickets. Come out with me and Larry and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. I'm gonna bring a big old bag of jerky and I'm gonna test that theory.
There you go.
Like, hey. Come on, little buddy. Come on, little buddy.
Well, smells and stuff are definitely good for out in the woods. You never know. Might draw
until a bear wants that jerky. Then I'm gonna be like, I'm out, guys. Have fun. I gotta go. I quit.
The bear chases you back to the car. Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. Like a Bigfoot, I'm fine. Bigfoot, I could deal with. The bear, no, I gotta go. I gotta go.
The bear would probably cause you more problems than the Bigfoot would. So
that's what I'm thinking. Because the Bigfoot looks at me and he goes, meh. The bear looks at me and he goes, that's a lot of fat. I could eat you. You'd fill me for quite a while. And then the bear hurts my feelings. So I don't know. This is
Does the bear hurt you more emotionally than physically? Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder now that I'm thinking about it. I think the bear's causing more emotional damage than physical damage, but I've seen The Revenant, so I'm 50-50.
There you go. All right. Transitioning over here to some more serious paranormal goodies and stuff. So I was on your little media page there, and I love your picture of you're standing with your hands up with the red
the Delcos.
Yeah. And so I'm really interested in this. I've tried it once, but can you talk about the experiment and what are you supposed to be getting with using the red glasses, and tell me a little bit more about that and how you experienced it, and you've done it obviously.
Everybody has a different experience with them, and I'm a firm believer in more prolonged use, the more effective they become. So I know people that they only view them as a hypnotic tool because of the flashing. And it
Okay.
kind of lulls them into more of a meditative state, not a trance state, but more of a meditative state. And then when you're doing something like Estes, you're not listening for the words, you're listening for the words under the words. And that meditative state can help you focus more in a wide range than just the super narrow what you can hear. Whereas for me, I do that too. But I've also, as weird as this sounds, seen things in the goggles. So we were doing. Okay, hold on. I gotta preface this. This
Let me
this was
start here. Can you tell us, like, you're talking about the goggles and stuff. Tell anybody that doesn't. I mean, I've seen the picture and stuff. So
Yeah.
tell everybody like what it is that you're actually doing and the purpose of the experiment and stuff before we get into what it actually is. Yeah.
So it takes elements from the Gansfeld experiment, and it kind of combines it with the spirit boxes that we use. So there's a hypnotic nature to it. There's an ESP nature to it. Some people like it because it looks cool, or a combination of all three. That's kind of where I sit. I like all three. But not everybody gets the visions, and not everybody gets the hypnotic state. Some people just sit there and they go, "This is kind of giving me a headache. I don't really like this."
Mm-hmm.
It's not for everybody. But sometimes I get the ESP type stuff. So, and this is the example of it where I got to preface. This was Brittany's idea, and it's mostly her fault. Just let it sit. Brittany's idea, Brittany's fault. We're in Jericho, and in the basement of the school, in the old kitchen, they didn't have, refrigerators back then when they first formed it. So they had a cold room, basically just a concrete room underground, right? It is very cold. They turned that room into a mirror room. So, okay, cool. Let's do this. What if, Brittany goes, we do double Estes back to back while scrying in the mirrors under red light? And I go, oh, that sounds really dumb. Let's go do it. So her and I have this really weird ability where we know what the other person's thinking. We can send each other thoughts all the time, which is a really weird thing to say. But it happens. So you'll get times during like a double Estes where her and I are back to back, and she starts talking about something, and I start talking about the same exact thing at the same time. So we're kind of doing that in this double Estes. She starts talking about trains. And, a few moments later, I'm in a train station. Like, I can see the brick of the train station. I can see the railing in front of me. If I look to my right, I can see a stairwell that leads up into the darkness. If I look to my left, I can see, further down the train station. And then if I, as much as I could, look behind me, you can see the part where the trains come in and the pillars. And I'm describing a train station that I'm visually seeing, and she's talking about trains in her Estes. And then it switches, and I start seeing like amorphous blobs of light that shifts colors. And I'm sitting there like I'm on an acid trip right now. Like, I'm gone. I don't know where I'm at, but it's pretty and I'm digging it. I've had people where they saw a shadow in the light of the goggles walk across them, only for someone to hear footsteps outside of the goggles walking in front of them. For some people, it works very, very well. For others, it just doesn't. I find that it works better for me on the listening side than the visual side. The visual doesn't happen all the time, but on the listening side, we did a session very much like the beginning of this podcast where we talked about food for 20 minutes. And we were filming at the Roth House for the Seance Part 2, and I'm on keto. So I made taco bowls because I'm very limited on what I can eat, but I had to make them more filling. So I used cauliflower rice. And the spirits thought that stunk. And they were very opinionated on the fact that it stinks so bad, and that I should have just made a burger instead, or whatever else Neil had said that they said. For like 20 minutes, they said I was talking about food and how much the food that I cooked was gross. But like these are responses that I'm not hearing from the spirit box. It's the voices that are coming under the noise of the box. And I feel like the goggles help you get to that level if they work for you.
Mm-hmm. So the goggles actually have lights inside them, the ones that you used.
Yes, they have red flashing lights where it's either a steady on, a slow blink, and then a faster blink. I tend to use the slow blink because if you time it just right, that blink will happen at the same time an SB7 changes at I think 150 milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 150. And then you can get the audio and the visual to be like kind of hypnotic too. But I tend to use my Phasma box more now than my SB7 because number one, the audio port's going out on the SB7 and I don't want to replace it. So it's kind of been a pain. But the Phasma box is an app. And when we can talk about apps, how you feel about apps, and that's fine. But I like it because it's a Windows-based app. And it's on a Windows tablet that I've never connected to the internet, has never been updated. The app's never been updated. And because it's Windows, I can go into the system and I can turn the microphone off. So you have this app that has no input whatsoever. And I'm still getting responses that correlate exactly to the questions being asked within a second or two of the question being asked.
Have you ever tried? I've heard some people use text to speech on their phone to try and get like written dialogue coming through in like sessions and stuff. Have you ever tried that?
I've never tried that. No.
We've tried it a couple times and didn't get anything, but I know some people have pretty good results with it. I was just curious.
Really? Yeah, I've never heard of it. I could see it being interesting. But I also wonder, like, for the phone to be able to pick something up, like that's got to be a pretty loud audible voice. And I don't experience those disembodied voices very often, enough to be able to be heard. So I wonder, like, is that just a specific location where that is more prevalent, or is it just luck of, hey, the spirit was loud enough that the phone picked it up?
Does it really have to be loud? I mean, if you whisper into a microphone, it's still going to pick it up if you're right up against it. You know, so if you're using energy to vibrate the speaker or the microphone, you know, I don't think that you'd have to be that loud.
True, but most EVPs come in way under us on the waveform, even in a whisper. So you'd have to see, like, at what point does the phone not pick up our voice, and where that lies on the waveform where EVPs are normally experienced. Because I've got EVPs that are as loud as you and I, and it's like, how the hell did we not hear that? It was right there. But then I've got other ones where you really have to boost the volume, and once you do, then it's clear. But of course you didn't hear it because that's below a whisper.
Have you ever gotten what I call like a reverse EVP on anything, where everyone there hears a voice, but you don't get anything on any of your recording?
I've had that happen numerous times. I've also had voices heard that they didn't understand, and then you had to reverse it in editing for it to come forward the right direction. Interesting.
Not off of the spirit box, just in open air.
EVP. Yep. Open air EVP. Yeah. A lot of the times, most of the stuff that I get that's disembodied does get captured. The very rare occurrences that it happens. I think there's only been once or twice where we know for sure we heard something and then the microphones just didn't get it. But that also kind of plays into the microphones that I use too. I don't use a lot of room mics. I use a lot of lav mics, and they're only really good for right here. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not picking up much more than the person talking or holding the speaker or whatever they're doing. So, you know, room mics are iffy, you know, especially the places we go to. They tend to be very large and echoey rooms. So if there's people walking around or talking and there's an echo in the room, those mics are just picking up a bunch of garbage. The only reason I'll use one is as a backup in case somebody's lav mic goes out.
Mhm.
But otherwise, like I really don't do room mics all that much anymore.
So where do you get your EVPs off the lavs?
Off the lavs? Yeah.
Really?
We were actually at Broadhead Manor, and we were filming for our season or series finale of Expedition Entity. And Brittany was somewhere on the third floor in the hallway, somewhere. And you could hear breathing coming through her microphone. That was a guy breathing. And a guy grunting and groaning, but it was through her mic only. So the other two that were next to her, it wasn't coming through her mic. So whatever it was standing right where she was to get picked up by her mic. And I like that because I can situationally put the spirit in a position in the room and be like, hey, listen,
Mhm.
it's on your mic. It was by you. And then you start watching going, hey, while we were in the room, you were kind of talking about you were feeling something in front of you. And then a second later, I got an EVP in front of only you. So that kind of ties those two experiences together now. Which, as tying a personal experience to evidence can be really tough.
Mhm.
Oh, well, did you really feel that? Did you really experience that? Well, we can't prove it. But now I've got an EVP immediately afterwards that's only on your mic. Well, that makes that personal experience a little more credible now.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't use the independent microphones, but we have all either GoPros or the Phasm cameras and stuff. So everyone is kind of all mic'd, and that, like you said, it's really good for pinpointing audio and stuff. As you go back to the our beginning topic here about all the food and stuff, like I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out certain vocalizations, and there's one in particular where there was this potential EVP of this voice coming through, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me about a half hour of going back and forth and listening to it to realize that it was, like right before you cough, you start to get that little in your throat.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And the second that I finally listened to the audio further,
Yeah.
My investigator goes, I'm like, oh,
yeah, it's that little like,
oh my God. But I
yeah.
listened to the original clip, didn't think nothing of it. And then I
Right.
was like, what did I hear there? And I went back and I just listened to that little bit over and over and over, where if I would have let it play that extra like 30 seconds, I would have go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
People think what we do on the back end of the paranormal is really easy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Number one, you have to know what you're doing with audio and video and lighting and all that stuff. But number two, if you've got the footage or the audio in this case, you have to know what's what. You have to be able to listen to something and be like, that's radiator, that's house expansion, that is the floor popping 3 times in a row. That might be a footstep. You have to be the person that knows these things, and it's tough because the moment you put something out as very obvious not paranormal, all your credibility is out the window now.
Yeah.
And that can affect everybody else you work with too. Oh, you work with Larry, the guy that thought the radiator popping was a spirit knocking on the wall? Oh, you must not know what you're doing either. It's tough. It's very tough.
It's really hard because, like you said, when you listen to that much audio and you've gone through this much footage, you know what this stuff is or what it sounds like, and you get people that, I don't know if you do, but we get stuff like video clips and footage and audio and stuff sent to us and go, oh man, I caught this ghost on my security camera. What is it? And you're like, oh, that's just the floor creaking, or like you said, the radiator. That's that's your furnace kicking in. And they're like, no, it's not. Like, but it is. And you have to tell them that and be like, well, it's a good catch. You really got, you're looking at your stuff and you got this, but this time it's just this. And
right. And we're going to run into that at your event with the spirit photography workshop. When I do this workshop, people tend to bring their spirit photos in and they'll go, what do you think about this? And then that's when you got to find a way to go, okay, listen, you're looking at a reflection, and what looks to me like a face could also be the coat rack against the wall in the back of the room. So, it's tough to explain it to people in a way that doesn't come across as I'm being a jerk.
Hmm.
And I'm sure there's going to be people that bring photos in for CapsCon, and they're going to be like, what do you think of this? And I'll have to figure out the best way to go. I don't think it's paranormal. I can't prove that it's not. I just don't think that it's not.
Hmm.
Or you'll get the ones where it's a shadow standing in the middle of a room that I can't say isn't paranormal anymore. I don't know what the heck that is. I can say whatever it is isn't casting its own shadow. I can say this light here isn't hitting this shadow as it should be and illuminating it. And I can say it doesn't look edited because the pixelation looks to be about even across the board. So yeah, you might have something. And I like those ones a lot more than the other ones.
I had one another case where I was going through evidence and stuff, and it was filmed in GoPro and night vision Phasm camera, right? So
Mhm.
you have night vision and you have the regular vision.
Mhm.
And regular vision, it's a pitch black room. There's nothing going on in there. And on the night vision camera, there's a shadow that walks through the frame. And I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. How'd you get that? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Because there shouldn't be a shadow there because there's no lights, right?
Right. Right.
Well,
Right.
come to
Right.
find out that, we all, like I said, either wear GoPros or the Phasm cameras. Well, they have their own IR lights on them.
Hmm.
And there was another camera in the room that I hadn't realized that was shining in the other direction, and somebody walked by casting that light as a shadow. So it's an IR shadow.
Yeah.
And it took me looking at several different camera angles to figure out where that other light was coming from. And
Right.
it's a lot of work to do this. Like I
It is.
spend 4 hours for like 15 minutes of footage.
Hmm.
And at the minimum sometimes
Hmm.
of just going through all this stuff. And I don't
Yeah.
people who just watch this stuff don't appreciate the amount of work that goes into it.
It is a lot of work. And that's a lot of times why, when we do filming for stuff, we try to do things simply. I can only take so much SB7. I can't listen to more than 20 minutes of it. Like I can't, because that 20-minute session is 5 or 6 hours of the whole time. I don't want to do it. I don't want to
Mhm.
do it. But at the same time, like, yes, these awesome contraptions that we have are great, but sometimes I get the best evidence with simple things.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example. One of my favorite things to do is I'll take a spirit box, any spirit box, SB7, the Phasma box, whatever, and I'll just let it run. And I'll play blackjack with the spirits. And their cards are face up, so I can see what they are and they can see what they are. Not like they can flip them over. And then I'll bet $1, and then whoever gets the most hands out of 5 gets to keep the $1. I am 1 for 7 because they cheat. But it's a JBL speaker, some kind of a box device, whatever you want, and a deck of cards. That's all it takes, and $1 bill, or a euro, because I was in Ireland for 2 of them.
Hmm.
But like it's simple. Most people that have been in this country know how to gamble and play cards, even as a spirit. Most of them know how to do that. Especially if you're around Chicago where you've got Al Capone and his ties. They all gambled, all of them. It dips into Wisconsin, it dips into Iowa. Anything out east, they all gambled. West, yeah, hit or miss. But they all gamble. And if you explain the rules to them, even if they never played blackjack when they were alive, they're going to have fun. They're going to figure it out. And you just taught a spirit how to play a new game, and they won $1 from you. Because they cheat. They totally cheat. 100% they cheat. You'll
So
never convince me otherwise.
so you get them to like say hit or stand or whatever through
Yep.
the spirit box. Yeah.
It's hit, stay, or split. So, and there's been a few times where they say hit and they get it wrong, and then I get excited, and then they still end up winning anyway. And there's been a few times, seldom, I think only once or twice, where they said split at the appropriate time to split. So it's like these are very intelligent responses, but the argument you're using, because again, I use the Phasma box. I like it, and I can control the microphone for the tablet. How does it know to say sit, split, hit or whatever. How does it know that? There's no input, but it's actually coming across at the appropriate times. So again, spirit box, a speaker, and a deck of cards. You can have fun for 20 minutes playing 5 hands and lose $1 like me. Sure, go ahead. But it's simple. You don't have to do too much.
Lee
What does
wants to
spirits
know.
buy?
Lee wants to know. What do they buy with their dollars? And then, do you leave the dollar sitting there, or do you take it when you walk out the door?
So most of the time, depending on the location. So like I lost $1 to Robert Tinker at Tinker Swiss Cottage. I gave the dollar to Sam, the director. Do with this what you will. In Ireland, because they were euros, I lost €2 at the Hellfire Club. So I just buried them in the dirt. Like, here you go. And then other locations like Waverly, off in the middle of nowhere, I lost $1. Okay, well, there you go. Just toss it behind something. Like, enjoy that. So, and then where it goes from there, I can't tell you. I haven't been back to Waverly yet to see if my dollar's still there. I'm interested in going to find out. And then Ireland, I don't know if I'll be back to check for those euros. By the time I go back to Ireland, I'll probably forget where I put them to. But what they spend them on, I don't know.
The next guy that comes and gambles with them.
Right. They're betting my dollar with the next one.
Yeah.
I'd like to come up with a funny joke to be like, they're paying for dry cleaning for their white sheets or something dumb like that. But I got nothing. I used all my good jokes in the beginning of the show.
Okay, good. Yeah. All the ones you had prepared, I see. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was not ready to ask or be asked what they use the money for. So unprepared.
Awesome, man. Well, we are coming up here on the end of the hour. If you have any other questions for Larry, throw them in the comments. We'll get into them right before we sign off here. Anything about filming or video, audio, anything of the paranormal, throw them in the comments, or any specific questions of locations or anything that Larry's been to that you have questions of. Get them in there. We'll grab them before we go. But Larry, you are an author as well. You have several books. Oops, why is that so small? There we go. Several books out for anybody that's interested. Ghosts of the Black Hawk War, Afterlife Anthology, and Haunted by Likes. We've talked about these on the last show that you're on, so I didn't really bring them up today. But sure. You want to kind of briefly just kind of mention them and where people can get them? Sure.
All on Amazon. And then Afterlife and the Black Hawk War, you can get in person from me at events. Signed as well. The Afterlife book is an anthology of short stories written from most of them from the ghost perspective of a haunting. And people tend to find, one or two stories that they really identify with. Like there's a story for firefighters or for, people in the military. And then Ghost of the Black Hawk War is a little bit of history and a little bit of investigation for the Black Hawk War of 1832. And this book is the Illinois side. We haven't finished the Wisconsin side yet because, as we can see outside right now, there's a very limited window of when you can do stuff in Wisconsin. And a lot of the sites are in the middle of the woods. So if it's not -10 degrees, it's wet in this very small window, and then there's ticks. And then it's nice, and then it's back to -10 again. So we're still working on Wisconsin. It'll be a ways away. And then the last book is a ebook about social media and some of the pros, but a lot of the cons that social media plays into with the paranormal. And if you guys are on Facebook, you see it. It's there. It's bad. It's bad. Echo chambers and people being keyboard warriors and saying a lot of things they'd never say in person, but they do online because they can get away with it. People that say the nastiest, most horrible things. That guy that runs that oddities event was in Michigan. The one that just got in trouble for overselling his vendor booths. He had some nasty comments to people. Just horrible comments to people when they were calling him out for overselling. So, like people in the paranormal, like social media, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not stuff like this with a podcast where you're enjoying your time or learning about something. There are people that go in and leave comments where you're just like, what possessed you to want to say that? Let alone having the balls to actually type it.
Mhm.
It's
It's
crazy.
like, I mean, you get that in all these fields of paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, and stuff. You get people in there that join a group of Bigfoot believers only to tell everyone there that there's no such thing as Bigfoot.
Right. What are you here for?
Why are you here? Why waste your time?
Right.
Or, there's so many times I go on these things and I want to write these long explanation, a few expletives too, I suppose.
A few expletives. Some of them are deserved.
Explain to you, sir, why you are wrong. And I think, no, this is going to turn into a whole thing, and my thing's going to blow up with comments and stuff. I don't want to deal with it. I don't care. And you move on. So it's no.
So many of these paranormal groups are just echo chambers of somebody posting a photo where it's like, that is clearly not paranormal. But by the time you get to it, there's 45 people telling them it's a demon, it's their grandma, it's this and it's that. You need to watch out, go home and cleanse yourself. And it's like, how do you even know this person actually took the photo? They're just posting it in a group. And you guys are jumping all over it, believing it's paranormal when if you've been doing this for more than a minute, you can clearly see that's edited. You can clearly see that's somebody standing behind them.
Or you're scaring the person who doesn't know anything about, knows less than everybody else in that group that goes, hey, I got this weird photo on my phone. I don't know what this is. Can you explain? They're like, oh, it's a demon. And then this person's like, oh crap. Is this really, like these people supposedly know what they're doing in this group. They're all in this paranormal group. They must know more than me. And
someone that legitimately needed help. And because people are dumb, they end up not getting the help they need, and they get sensationalized and go, I need to cleanse my house. I need to get a priest. I need to get this and this and this and this and this. And no, you don't. It's fine. Just relax.
And then it makes the rest of the community look bad that actually is doing the work and the research and knows what they're talking about for the most part.
It does. Yeah. And there's times where people are like, why don't you get stuff like they do on TV? Like, well, number one, because they're there for a week and I'm here for one day. And the stuff that I do get is pretty freaking incredible when you consider I'm only there for a day. But on top of that, why don't I get stuff thrown at me? Probably because I'm not a jerk to the spirits. They like me. They're willing to tell their stories. That's what I want. I want their stories. I don't want their drama. So you're just not going to get the stuff people expect. And that's the same with these groups. You're expecting all these answers for a photo you post up, and sometimes you're just not getting the real answer. You're getting somebody that thinks they're a psychic, or they're a medium, or they're a sensitive, or sometimes people just like to make other people miserable because they're miserable. And I'm sure you see that all the time in these groups where people trash on Bigfoot and be like, this ain't real. Well, why are you here? Because you're miserable. And you want other people to feel bad like you feel bad.
Because someone told you that you were wrong at one time. Yeah.
So that's a lot of that is what that ebook's about. So it was more a writing just to start a discussion. And just like we just had here, it started the discussion.
Absolutely, man. Well, we know that you are going to be coming up to Wisconsin May 9th here for CapCon in Fond du Lac. Tickets are available right now, $40 in advance or $50 at the door. And then you can also come out with Larry on his first ever Bigfoot expedition Friday night before that. This is a limited ticketed event, so if you guys want it, make sure that you get in on it. You also get to see Ken Gerhard, myself, Jay Bachochin, Chris, and Lauren Smith as well. So
if you buy something from my booth during the day, I might give you a piece of jerky. I might. Oh wait, no, the booth's on Saturday. The booth's on Saturday. If you're nice to me during the hunt, I might give you a corner of a piece.
There you go.
We got to save the biggest pieces for Sasquatch.
Or the bear that's going to chase you.
Or the bear. Yeah.
Larry, where else are you going to be? What else you got coming up here?
Oh, Lord. I am going to be at Gettysburg this year with Brittany. We're both doing a panel about our scariest stories of all the stuff that we've done. I'm doing, this is not me looking at the graphic right now, just to double check where I'm going. Why are you taking so long to load? I'm going to be at Jack's event in June too. I'm not doing a talk unless something falls through. But I told him like, hey, if you need me, I'll be there. But come to my table, talk stories, share things. I'm down. Just come talk to me. I'm doing Days of the Dead in March and in June this year. I've got the Tinker Swiss Cottage event tomorrow with Diet. That was a whole lot of fun. And then I go over to the East Coast in like the end of the year a lot. I'm doing the Maine Paranormal and Horror Con in September, the Underworld Culture Con the next weekend. And then the Illinois Paranormal Con in Rockford. That one's always a good time. And then I end my year at the Wicked Gardens Film Festival in New Jersey.
Very cool.
So I'm really looking forward to all the stuff I got this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like it, man. Awesome. Well, for anybody that's interested, we have the link to your link tree with all of your socials and websites and all that stuff in the show notes for anybody that's interested. And I know somebody just put the direct link to your books on Amazon as well into the stuff over there as well. So
perfect.
But yeah, so Larry, I look forward to dragging you out into the woods for your first Bigfoot hike coming up here in May.
I'm ready.
So make sure that you stay safe and
make sure
alive all the way up to May.
Yes, make sure I come back safely. But if anything happens, make sure it's on video.
Exactly.
We'll take advantage of that. That'll be my legacy. Like this amazing filmmaker, he came to check us out, and then here's his video of him getting dragged away by the foot. We never saw him again, but he dropped his phone, so we've got this shot. It's great.
Blair Witch style. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on today, and look forward to seeing you and hanging out again.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Talk to you later, man.
Yep.
All right, guys, that is our show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember to go check out all Larry's events and his books. And if you want to come meet him in person, he's going to be in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, as well as a lot of other great events. You can check out all of his social medias on our link tree, or on his link tree in the show notes. Until next time, guys, remember, we're all part of the paranormal spectrum. Take care, be well, and I'll see you next week.
You seem